Hey everyone, my name is Jordan Tetrick. I'm the head of global sales enablement at 잇저스트. I'm excited to be with you all today. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to walking you through our company, our products, our business model, our brand. But before I do that, I want to make sure you have some context as to who we are, really at the heart of 잇저스트. And it all revolves around impact. We're an impact company. The decisions that we make every single day will always revolve around what's going to make the biggest impact possible. So what we do is we really look at what we think are the most commonly held assumptions in food. And we focus on these two big assumptions. The first one being that an egg must come from a chicken. We think eggs can also come from plants. And we think eggs from plants are healthier, they're more sustainable, and they're also more delicious. The second big assumption that we're challenging is that in order to eat meat, an animal must be slaughtered. We think cultured meat is the way of the future, and we want to lead the future to ensure that generations to come are eating meat from animals who weren't slaughtered. So let's first dive into challenging that assumption that the egg must come from a plant. And we really started with looking at the plant kingdom. We wanted to find a plant out there that had a similar functionality to a chicken egg, more specifically, a plant that was able to gel. Gelation is what's happening in that pan when you pour or crack an egg into a pan. That's what gives it the ability to scramble, to fold as an omelet. So we really wanted to find a plant that had a similar functionality there. And that's what led us to the mung bean. The mung bean is the core ingredient in Just Egg. We in the US aren't really familiar with the mung bean. Of course, it's consumed globally. It's also grown globally as well. But this is really the plant that we narrowed it on to be our candidate for our plant-based egg. And it took us a couple years of not only finding it, of developing it, but we were lucky enough to have it ready to launch as a product in the United States about 2 years ago. Now, before I go any further, I think it's important that not only hear from me, but you hear from some of our incredibly talented chefs. So here's a quick video from the chefs who have actually developed the product. Enjoy.
It's kind of funny that the mung bean, which has been in the culinary world for thousands of years, has this incredible new property that we're just discovering right now. It contains this amazing protein that can scramble like an egg. Every time I watch it cook like that, I'm completely amazed. Like, it shouldn't exist, but it's there.
It's understanding the power of that plant and being able to utilize it in a way from a chef standpoint that makes sense. This thing works, and it's delicious.
No way.
It needs no seasoning. I'm still gonna.
No way.
Are you kidding? It's not egg? No.
The challenge of doing something no one's ever done before, there's nothing like it. I look at the way the world works, and I maybe I look at it differently and think that we can make it better. We can make it more sustainable. We can make it less cruel. We can make it taste better. We don't have to do things the way we've done them before. We can make it not just better for you, but better for the world, and I think that's the important aspect.
So you heard from our chefs. You got a quick look to what the product looks like cooking up. Good to know that chefs all around the world are really loving working with the product. Folks like Jose Andres, who's an incredible chef and probably even better person, said it's not every day you get to see something that blows your mind. We've been lucky enough to be named a top 50 disruptor by CNBC, a world-changing idea by Fast Company, and even the best plant-based food brand by Adweek. But when it comes to challenging this big assumption, this is one that's not just a protein that's consumed in the US, it's of course consumed globally. It just so happens to be the most consumed animal protein on the planet. 1.4 trillion chicken eggs are laid every single year. So there's of course a massive opportunity here to really infect change, to look at a protein that is not just for breakfast, but it's also for lunch and for dinner. And it's also used in a lot of the products that we consume every day that you may not even notice. So when it comes to this assumption, we're certainly aiming high. When it comes to our product of Just Egg, the magic in it is that it scrambles up, right? It's really the first of its kind to scramble like an egg. But when you talk about health, there's zero cholesterol. There's very low saturated fat. There's no antibiotics. It's non-GMO. And I think best of all, it's packed with clean, sustainable protein. From a sustainability standpoint, it uses far less carbon, water, and carbon emissions than a conventional chicken egg. From a sensory standpoint, the chefs that you heard from, their core objective is to ensure that chefs and home cooks alike love cooking the product, love the experience from texture to flavor. We'll talk about consumers in a bit, but you'll be shocked by who is actually purchasing Just Egg today. It may not be who you all assume. And from a cost standpoint, we're focused on ensuring that this product is available to everyone. You know, I think it's one thing to be a high premium price product for only those who could afford it. But again, our goal is to make impact, is to infect change, and to challenge that assumption. So we're always going to be working to lower the price of Just Egg year after year. When it comes to sustainability and health, it's important that we're measuring not just plant-based proteins, but conventional proteins. So when it comes to health, Just Egg has zero cholesterol. Of course, can't really say that for other animal proteins. Very low saturated fat. And as I mentioned, really high protein content. From a sustainability standpoint, we're pretty confident in saying that Just Egg is one of the most sustainable protein sources on the planet. Those are looking at those big pillars like water, carbon emissions, and land. And not only do we want to compare this to other animal products, but we also want to see what does this look like with our sales today. Just 2 months ago, we reached 100 million egg equivalents sold. We're proud of it. We're not done yet, but it's good to reflect and look back at the impact of selling 100 million egg equivalents. With that number, we've saved over 3.6 billion gallons of water, just over 14 million kilograms of carbon emissions, and just about 6,000 acres of land. And again, what wakes us up in the morning is pushing these numbers forward. You know, the more partners we get, the more distribution we receive, the more adoption that we have from consumers globally, the more these numbers are really going to rise, which makes us, you know, get up out of bed and do what we do. In terms of our consumers, you know, of course, the plant-based consumers prefer Just Egg, but the majority of our consumers are actually meat eaters. They're flexitarians. They're consumers who are eating meat on a regular basis, but once, twice, maybe 3 times a week, they're involving a plant-based protein, and they're looking to Just Egg as a clean, sustainable protein. Majority of them are looking for it for breakfast as well. But I love, of course, not just looking at conventional animal proteins. We also want to look at the plant-based category, which is, of course, exploding. In 2020, the plant-based category grew 27%. And if you double click on that number and look at the plant-based category, which has provided the most growth, it's plant-based eggs by far at 168%. So plant-based category growing tremendously. Plant-based eggs are providing the most growth, and Just Egg is lucky enough to be the leader in that space, the inventor of the category, and we're going to continue to build our partnerships, distribution, and brand to ensure that we drive those numbers up in the coming years. Now, we think about opportunity within eggs. The market is massive. You know, when it comes to retail, we're very focused on being distributed and merchandised in that egg set. We want to be right next to chicken eggs, whether that be shelled or liquid eggs. The global market in that egg aisle is 122 billion. Within food service, whether you're talking about a cafeteria, a coffee shop, or a QSR, the global market for eggs is over 48 billion. And again, we're looking to compete against chicken eggs in all of these categories. In frozen breakfast, where we're distributed with our Just Egg Folded today, the market is 8.9 billion. And this industrial channel of ingredients has a global market of 72 billion. So part of our work is enabling other customers to use Just Egg to offer, their customers something that's a bit healthier, more sustainable, something that continues to grow for our company. To give you a snapshot of what our distribution looks like in the United States, in retail, we're in over 20,000 points of distribution. We're, of course, in accounts like Whole Foods, but we're proud to be in Walmart and Kroger and Safeway and Publix. Conventional grocery stores have Just Egg sitting right next to shelled and liquid eggs. In the food service channel, our distribution continues to grow. We have agreements with some of the biggest broadline distributors. We're on menu at coffee shops, diners, and in conversations with QSRs. So really that channel is starting to pick up steam now that really COVID is letting up a bit in some parts of the world. In terms of the retail market, I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. We're competing against chicken eggs, and we like to look at data that makes us that helps us compare. If you look at the egg category today in the United States, the fastest growing egg brand is Just Egg. I'll say it again. In the egg category today, the product that is providing the number one growing egg brand is a brand that is made entirely from plants. And we're also number two within loyalty in that category. So as I mentioned, this idea of a plant-based egg being pretty far out, pretty new when the company was first founded, all of a sudden, isn't as crazy as some may have thought. When you look at really what's happening in retail at certain retailers, our velocities are really continuing to grow. At Whole Foods Market, we're reaching over 100 units per store per week, and we're really climbing the egg category, again, competing with those shelled and liquid eggs. In food service, large coffee shops like Peet's Coffee have us on menu. Peet's Coffee, having over 200 locations, mainly in the California area, have Just Egg on menu as a everything plant-based sandwich. Really the first coffee shop to put a fully plant-based breakfast sandwich on menu. Right now, a fully plant-based breakfast sandwich is the number one hot menu item at Peet's and number three when compared to all categories, which includes beverage. So we are competing and beating really their fundamental animal product breakfast sandwiches. The marketing manager over at Peet's Coffee said in the first month alone, the product has exceeded forecasts by 3x, and its sales have been incremental. The product generates high appeal with younger consumers, and even more exciting, the product is driving new customers to the business. This is a story that we continue to hear, not just with our United States partners, but globally, that putting Just Egg on menu or on shelf is a way to drive incremental growth. A lot of our consumers are new to the category, are new to these coffee shops. So we're seeing a lot of success in putting Just Egg on menu or on shelf and really watching those categories grow. And of course, the more people that come in, the more of their friends and family that come along with them, and the more of coffee, tea, and other high margin items get put on that ticket. Phil's Coffee is another really good example of a premium coffee shop who's serving Just Egg to their customers today. This is also a fully plant-based build that's going really well. So as I mentioned, Just Egg was launched, a bit over, 2 years ago, and we decided to pivot, not in terms of our product, but in terms of our business model. We found that at 잇저스트 we are particularly strong in a handful of things, and actually we're pretty weak in some things. We're strong when it comes to R&D and product development. That's really in our DNA. That's who we are. And we're really strong when it comes to telling our brand story and connecting consumers. Also really deep in our DNA and who we are. We struggled when it came to manufacturing, to cold chain distribution, to nitty-gritty street sales sometimes. So we really gained inspiration from Coca-Cola. And for those of you who don't know, Coca-Cola goes to market a bit different. Instead of opening up manufacturing facilities, they are providing their syrup to bottlers globally who take that syrup, manufacture it, bottle it, and use their trucks to get it out into the market. So we decided to adopt the same model and do the same thing with our Just Egg. Now, what we do is we take that mung bean, we mill it into a fine powder, and we extract the protein. And that protein that we're left with is really the functional ingredient. That is the base of all Just Egg products. That's what gives it the magic that enables it to scramble and to make an omelet and other great products. So we take that Just Egg protein and we provide it to some of the largest food companies on the planet. Today, right now, our downstream partners are everyone from Michael Foods, the United States, the world's largest egg processor. Michael Foods today is, again, using our Just Egg protein, running the product at their manufacturing facilities, putting it on their trucks and distributing it out to their customers. We've signed agreements with PHW in Europe, Egg Solutions in Canada, and I am incredibly proud to let you all know that SPC is our downstream partner for South Korea. Pretty soon here, they will be doing the same thing of using our Just Egg protein to manufacture and distribute out Just Egg into the Korean market. More news on that to come, but excited to have them as a partner for us. So this business model, it's of course incredibly scalable for us. It enables us to focus on what we're really good at, that R&D, that brand building, and it enables us to leverage the expertise of companies who do the manufacturing and distribution better than anyone on the planet. Now, part of these partnerships is, of course, brand. Similar to Coca-Cola's business model, we always control our brand no matter where we are, whether it's in the United States, Canada, Europe, Korea, China, you name it. Our brand will always come from us. And we found that no matter where we are, our consumers tend to be a bit similar. They're younger, they're female, they're highly educated, they're also incredibly diverse. We found that these consumers happen to be flexitarian, as I mentioned, and we're really going to be focusing in the next couple of years, targeting those consumers, ensuring that they know about Just Egg, they know how to use it, and we can provide them with really easy ways for them to either find it on their menu or on shelf. But it's really important for us that we're an aspirational brand. You know, when consumers know of Just Egg, we don't want them to only know of Just Egg as, you know, a plant-based egg product. We want them to know the why. We want them to see that, you know, we're a company built on a mission, and we do what we do because we care and we're here to make impact. So I think the more that we get out and tell our story and connect with consumers, the better. But it's also been fun to have just cultural icons and influencers try Just Egg and let their followers know. We've had hip hop artists like Lizzo, you know, influencers like Kim Kardashian, TV stars like Ellen DeGeneres use Just Egg and post about it on social media, all completely organic, unpaid. But I got to tell you, I've been lucky enough to be with the company for a handful of years now, since the beginning, and there's nothing better than seeing consumers take it home and post about it, just how happy they are to share it with their family, to give their kids breakfast, whether that's in a sandwich or an omelet or a scramble. Folks are really falling in love with the product because of the magic of it, because it's healthy, because it's impactful, because it's a brand that they can get behind. So anything that I've talked about prior to this, all really fall short, because this slide really makes it worthwhile for us of seeing folks bring it home and love it. And part of really experiencing the product is for us making sure that folks are trying it and experiencing the product for themselves even before they buy it. So more and more we're getting out there and setting up experiential events globally. This, of course, will increase once cities open up more and more due to COVID. But I'll give you an example of one that we put on in Shanghai. This is our future food studio. We decided to open up a studio for 2 months and allow consumers to come in and take cooking classes led by some of the country's most renowned chefs on how to make delicious meals using Just Egg. They were able to come, experience the product, use it themselves, learn the benefits, the attributes, learn some incredible cooking techniques and recipes from some world-renowned chefs, and really such an exciting brand building exercise for us, something that we're going to be replicating here no matter where we are. In terms of really the societal shift, of plant-based, this is something that we're seeing more and more of. Plant-based has come a long way. There's no doubt about that. And we wanted to really dig in to see where it is today, especially given COVID. We partnered with a company called OnePoll, who spoke to over 2,000 respondents. The majority of the consumers that they surveyed thought that society would be fully plant-based in the next 15 years. Whether that's true or not, I think it's exciting to see that the majority of consumers think it's going in that direction. Health was the driver of purchase intent. We found that to be true with our consumers that we speak to as well. Health is always the number one, while sustainability is a close number two. I found quite fascinating that COVID-19 has accelerated plant-based preferences. I think more and more consumers want transparency in their food. They want to know where it comes from, and they want to feel good about the product, not only from a health and sustainability standpoint, but also from a safety standpoint. And certainly because how Just Egg is made, it's incredibly safe and avoids a lot of the risks that go along with other animal products. But I love to, consumers when asked, which do you believe is healthier, an egg that is made from a plant or an egg that's made from a chicken? The majority believe that an egg from a plant is healthier, which hopefully will continue to grow and prove to be true. Now, as I mentioned, we're an impact company, and we're focused on really attacking two of the most commonly held assumptions in food. As you all see, that first assumption is that an egg can only come from a chicken. I hope you can agree that we're proving that wrong. And the second is that in order to eat meat, an animal must be slaughtered. So I'm proud to introduce you all to a division of 잇저스트 called Good Meat. This is a part of our company that is focused on cultured meat. And if this is your first introduction to cultured meat is when you take the cell of an animal, you feed that cell nutrients, whether that be carbohydrates, amino acids, and you harvest that cell and use it for products like bites or sausages or other products that you would use chicken or other animal products with. So really you're skipping the entire step of raising the animal, using land, feeding the animal, slaughtering it, and ending up with meat on your plate. You're skipping that entire step by going right to the cell and growing that. Some incredible, benefits of this is it's a really safe procedure. Imagine similar to how beer is brewed. That's the type of facilities and equipment that are involved. And we're incredibly proud that Good Meat is the first company in history to receive regulatory approval for its cultured chicken in Singapore. Singapore granted us regulatory approval a handful of months ago. And again, it's the first time ever that a country has done so. We're incredibly thankful to Singapore, and we're proud to be bringing cultured chicken that we call good chicken to the market. Now, as we're doing this, we of course are trying to learn more and more about how consumers view this. This is something that's brand new, that most people have never heard before. So we really wanted to get a sense of how restaurant owners and consumers feel about it. So we found that 91% of restaurant operators are open to selling cultured meat, of which 82% envision cultured meat replacing all conventional meat in 10 years. And again, I will underline that last one. 82% envision cultured meat replacing conventional meat in 10 years. That's what gets us up in the morning. That's why we did this. We think we can provide meat that is grown for slaughtered. And of course, we want to be there for everyone, and we want to replace meat on as many menus as possible. When it comes to consumers, we found that 2/3 of consumers are open to substituting conventional meat with cultured meat, and 75% are likely to substitute plant-based with cultured meat. A few things to call out here. This is such a brand new concept. These numbers are incredibly high for being so brand new. There is a massive amount of education that needs to happen, which we're investing in. And just to call out, this isn't plant-based. The chicken that we're serving and the beef that we will be serving is 100% chicken. It is not plant-based. So I think there is always some confusion there of, is this plant-based or not? This is fully chicken. It tastes like it, has a similar nutritional profile, and it's good to see even early on consumers are excited to try it. So as I mentioned, Singapore was the first place to grant us regulatory approval. Singapore is also the first country to sell it. Right now, 1880, an incredible restaurant in Singapore, has good chicken on its menu. Again, the first ever restaurant to sell cultured meat. Right now, consumers are dining at 1880, experiencing eating cultured meat for the very first time. We created an immersive experience for these diners. We tell them the story of really where meat started and where it is today, and how our work can hopefully help set us straight. They're experiencing the product in a beautiful way, and we really wanted to talk to them because they're the first to ever do it. And we found that diners at 1880, that 88% of those consumers felt good or very good about eating good meat. You know, some quotes from these diners that I love. They said, because it was authorized in Singapore, they felt it was really reliable. It's light, satisfying, and tasted great. It's morally the right thing to do. And even one person said, I'm vegan, so I felt conflicted, which I think is reasonable. So we'll continue to serve good meat at 1880, continue to tell our story, continue to build awareness. But 1880 certainly isn't where we stop. We formed a partnership with Food Panda to deliver good meat to folks all across Singapore to their home. So no longer do they have to dine at an incredible restaurant. They can sit at the comfort of their own home and ordered the very first cultured chicken. Here's a quick video that shows what that looks like today and how some of the consumers are reacting.
Today I got history delivered from Good Meat.
This is the chicken katsu one, and I'm hungry now, so I guess it's good that I ordered some rice and some proteins.
Okay, so I ordered chicken and rice, and this looks really good.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my god. Okay.
It looks so good.
And I'm eating meat. And I think what's incredible is that the meat, or the cultured meat, has the same nutritional value as chicken.
And the texture of the chicken is like juicy and just super tasty.
It's really interesting and exciting that Singapore is the first country in the world to be given the permission to grow this kind of meat.
It doesn't matter if you're vegetarian, vegan, or a meat eater, like, this is just so much better for the environment, a lot more sustainable, and it's so tasty.
We need to feed the world, and if we can provide good food to more people, and if it means affordability and saving the planet, that's pretty good. This is good stuff. Good stuff.
So as you can see, we're having a lot of fun building this. Again, first ever. So we're really breaking new ground and trying to help educate consumers and leading by delicious food and really incredible storytelling. One other example of good meat being served in Singapore, JW Marriott is also being a part of this in a partnership with Food Panda. And again, continuing to serve it not only as an option, but replacing chicken on their menu once or twice a week, which we hope will continue to be a trend as we gain more distribution and continue to scale. So those two big assumptions, an egg must come from a chicken and meat must be slaughtered in order to be eaten. We're going to continue to work every single day to challenge them, to build our brand, and most importantly, to make an impact. I've have fun sharing my story and our company with you all. I look forward to bringing Just Egg and Good Meat to Korea very, very soon. And looking forward to hopefully meeting some of you in person one day. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good one. Bye.